Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto, and we're going to dive into everything that we discussed during our Crypto Minute. So I was telling you for a while that you should be wary of meme coins. They can do a lot of good in growing your portfolio, growing the value of your portfolio, but as fast as they can grow your portfolio, that's as fast as it can be taken away. So if you look at Pepe right now, it's below a $500 million market cap. Now, take a step back. That's still a great number to be at. Reaching, almost half a billion dollars is a big deal. So I think it's 462 million right now, but it's on a steep decline. So if it was me, I'd get out. However, let's go back to the actual lesson. The actual lesson is I told you meme coins are really, really good. You've got to know when to get in. And Pepe wasn't something I was getting into. It just seemed way too much of a flash in the pan. I think it could have had legs, but right now, rumor has it that Pieter Wuille, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, sir. I do apologize if I'm not. But there has been, he's one of the core developers, and he's put forward a proposal that says, let's get rid of meme coins off of, the Bitcoin blockchain. And it makes a lot of sense. Why would you do that? Because of congestion. Meme coins can cause a lot of congestion on any kind of blockchain. And Pepe is getting whacked for it. I don't know that Pepe is on there. I thought Pepe was an ERC20. I have to do a little bit more research on that, but it's affecting Pepe though. So either way, big deal. Now, one of the things that we started talking about were wallets. Well, Atomic Wallet got hit with a hack over the weekend, and it cost people about 1% of their users about $35 million. Some are saying some 20. So I'm putting the number is actually 20 to 35 million. That's the range of the effect. But still, does it matter how much money? Just people were affected. This is what I mean by you have to kind of do the research on what wallet you want to use and what wallet, is good for you and your services. I keep my wallets tight. I have a short list of wallets that I use, and that's it. I constantly keep my eyes out for anything going on with those wallets. I also do not leave my wallets open or anything else like that. So there are practices that you should put in place that will help you more secure your digital assets. Now, there are rumors that CZ is looking for an heir apparent. And apparently that heir apparent, rumor has it, that it's going to be Richard Tang. Now, every company should have a succession plan. Straight up. Every company should have a succession plan. My succession plan is in place. I know who would take over my company. Probably do a way better job with my company than I do. Because he's just smarter than I am. He really is. Needs a little bit more experience, a little bit more polish, but he's smarter than I am, faster than I am. Great researcher. It's actually my son. My daughters are real smart too, but they haven't shown any interest. So, they're both doing their own thing, but they're all of my kids are smarter than I am. I've been blessed with that. But Binance could be looking to put in a succession plan, and I think that's outstanding. That is not a bad thing. I think that's outstanding. That shows maturity in how you run your operations. Big deal. Love it. Now, Gate.io, there's been a lot of FUD going on about Gate.io, and they've had enough. They've had enough, and they're saying, you know what? If you talk some more crap again, we're coming after you. We're going to sue. And I would take them serious on that. I really would. When you spread FUD about a business, you can affect really big problems for that business. So FUD was spread about a couple of regional banks, and what happened? There was a run on the bank. You wanted it to manifest, and it did. And it wasn't great. It wasn't a pretty thing. You can do the same thing to a centralized exchange. If you spread enough FUD about a centralized exchange, there can be a quote-unquote run on the bank. And then that exchange is going to falter and then could actually fall over. So they're saying, no, we're not putting up with that. We're going to fight it. Good for you. And you want to know something? Gate.io was one of the first exchanges I ever used. I was making a couple of bucks, basically trading treating altcoins, Bitcoin as Forex and was flipping money or flipping assets from exchange to exchange to exchange because they hadn't reached parity for the most part. So you can make a couple of bucks, even including the fees. So that was a big deal for me. So I'm glad that they're fighting back because I don't like when people spread FUD. Now here's something really cool for you. Ripple, and this goes to show that Ripple is making moves as a business, right? XRP as a coin, that's over there. Ripple as a business is making moves. They've launched a sidechain. Of course, the native asset for that sidechain is going to be XRP, but they've launched a sidechain. They are doing everything to actually create more use cases and bring them more business as a company. That's something to pay attention to as their roadshow continues. They're looking to go IPO. The time frame of that, I'm not sure. But when you start doing your roadshow, it's imminent. And I'm not saying today, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not even saying this year, but they want to identify who they can work with, how much money they would put in, all this other good stuff. And it's going to be off to the races. So I think it's going to be crazy. Something else to pay attention to. I told you a couple of weeks ago, Multichain had gone down with their cross bridge. They've resumed their cross bridge services, and the price soared 40%. That should tell you something about the importance of that particular project. Kudos to you for getting it done. Now, something else that I'm paying attention to. My man, Jamie Dimon. He's saying there is a pause coming, but there's one caveat. They've got to continue to see inflation decreasing. They have to see inflation moving in the right direction. That's actually a big caveat, right? Because the data is still split. The data is still all over the place. Costco says they're seeing food prices come down, but you see other prices still rising. So the data could be there. I'm still in the camp of there will be a pause. A pause. I didn't say pivot. A pause. I think there will be a pause. I think they'll chill out for a minute and wait for more data to come in to see if they can see that trending line for inflation and then move on something. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen, right? So that's what I'm paying attention to these days. Now, you know what we should do? We should get into the numbers. So let's switch over. Boop. Alrighty. So let's refresh. This hasn't been refreshed in like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Let's give it a sec. All right. So what we have right now are, let's see, from here down to here, because you know about my 5% rule. And when I scroll up, who's here that I'd be paying attention to? I'm not paying attention to Flux. I just see the name every now and then. I want to see like what they want to do. Somebody was talking about it and I was like, maybe I should pay attention to that. They've got a few things going on, but it's not something I've jumped into, and I can show you here. Pepe's down 8%. Their market cap is, sorry, I said 462 before. It's at 497. That's still below the $500 million mark. I'm expecting more drop. I really am. Don't know if it's going to come back because I don't know that the craze is there. I'm thinking that if all coins rise, Pepe will wind up rising as well. But then it hits that to hit 1 billion when you don't have so much of a craze behind you means that you have to work really hard at showing use case, showing community, showing builds, showing all these other things. And if you look at Shiba Inu and Doge, or especially Shiba Inu, really Shiba Inu, they did a lot to transition from meme coin to real coin. So that's what I'd be looking for from Pepe, and I just don't see it. So if you're one of those people who made money off of Pepe, that's great. When it hit above, 1 point something billion in market cap, I hope that you're not one of those people that left all your money in and lost it all when it dropped down to this 497 mark. Now let's take a look at the winners. There aren't a lot of winners, right? It's right there. Right, so you see Flexcoin, not something that's on my list. Terra Luna Classic, I would not touch. Just not something that's on my list. I wouldn't deal with it. I am starting to pay attention to Decentraland and Sandbox. And the reason why is because that's all about the metaverse. And there's big news out there with the metaverse when I told you about Apple having their new, XR lenses or XR goggles. So I'm sitting there and I'm going, I think gaming space is going to grow. So I would also be looking at Axie Infinity down here at 2%. Not a big mover, but I think they had moved before, and that's why. But when I look at Decentraland and Sandbox, 93% and 91% off their all-time highs. So they've got some ways to go. Didn't realize that Decentraland had dropped below $1 billion, but they did. They're at 943. I'm pretty sure they'll go back up, but still something I pay attention to because, I look at everything as 1 billion to 2 billion, 2 billion and above, and of course 1 billion and below. And that's a much larger bucket. 1 billion, 500 million to about 1 billion. And then you have below that. And that's what I'd be looking at. Now, let's see over here. Those are my notes. Sorry about that. Big picture. Finally got it up. Don't think like that. Ethereum is at 1900, above 1900. Bitcoin seems to be trying to stay above 27,000. I think those are good things. XRP, have you been paying attention? It's been quietly rising. Quietly rising. Look at it. It's at 54 cents. That's huge. That is huge. Anybody holding XRP right now is probably feeling good. Is probably feeling really good. I know I am. Just saying. The TVL, total value locked, is down below 60 billion. I believe we'll come back from that. The fear and greed index is at 53, right? We're still in neutral territory, approaching greed. But I think that you're going to start to see things this week probably pick up because the debt ceiling crisis hasn't fully kicked in yet. So that's something that will definitely kick in this week. And I think you'll see things start to rise. Something else that we have, I believe it's the 16th, whatever day the FOMC comes out. I think it's that Wednesday. I think that's what, week away, week and a half away or whatever. That's when we're going to find out about the rate hike and, rate hike or rate pause. And that's when you're going to see things kind of pick up a bit more. Now, do not sleep. China is still waking up to that whole retail investment thing. Companies are scrambling to get licensed in the country and everything. So that's going to be big. It's just going to take some time to get there. But these are all positive catalysts that are working in our favor. Now, if I'm looking at, Ethereum, it's still, look at Ethereum. They've created 13.5 million, burned 24.7, right? Or 24.7 thousand, sorry, not million, thousand. So that's actually a very big deal because that still says Ethereum is deflationary. Now, looking at my big board, here's my big band again, 31,580 to 26,747. We're trading way too close on Bitcoin at that 26,747 mark. And, with my mark being 26,475. We need to get above 28.28 for me to actually feel good. Now, for me, I'm thinking if we go above that 28.28, we'll be looking at 31,580 pretty soon. But it's going to be a while, so we're going to continue with that lateral move for a little bit, in my humble opinion. We do have a lot of positive wind behind us, but I can still see that we could probably be moving lateral until everything, comes into play. Now, if the Ripple SEC case kicks in, all bets are off. I think it'll just be nuts. Now, it could be nuts in either direction, but I really do think that Ripple is going to win. And I think that could be a very big deal. Either way, I think it'll put an end to that controversy and it'll be done because they're suing Ripple over a point in time based on XRP, and XRP is not what it once was. So I'm thinking that it could still be positive. I think the end of it would be positive. Ripple as a company, clearly making money. When you can drop 500 million, to buy into another company, yeah, I think you're doing all right. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. I hope my research helps you. I hope what me and my kids are looking at are things that maybe you start looking at, but I definitely want you to start doing your own research. All right? Have a good one. Bye-bye.